Hi, everyone. This is Chala, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert. Welcome to my Tuesday Tea Time with Chala, the little bit of fun that I have while I give you some hopefully useful information and tips and tricks about marketing and B2B sales. And I'm coming to you live right now. It is not my usual time, it's really early. I had a cancellation, so I thought I'm going to jump in and do this. I am so sick. I have not had a head cold since I haven't been sick since 2018. So I'm not used to being sick. I don't even know. Like, I've got my, this, and I've got this. So and I've got this. So I'm hanging in there. I don't even take drugs, but my head, and by the way, it's not COVID. I've done like 2 tests. Either I don't know how to do the test or whatever, but my head's gonna explode. But I still wanted to reach in and give you. And by the way, like, I have all my big trainings happening this week. Like, is it a coincidence? I don't know. So if I start hacking during my big trainings, I've got my Ricola, and hopefully I don't spit it out while I'm talking. So as long as it doesn't happen at a conference, like once I went to a conference and I lost my voice, and I always talk about that. And I had a booth at the conference, and I couldn't. People would come up to me, they would smile, and they would say, "What is it that you do?" And I would like squawk, like squeak. I couldn't talk, and they were like, anyway, it was terrible. I'm gonna try to hack it through today. Let me just take a sip. Okay. Um, I want to do a special mention to my boyfriend's sisters who are so generous at Easter. They gave me this amazing designer tea. So I want to thank you guys. They thought about Tuesday Tea Time with Chala. So I said, I'm going to mention you guys. I'm going to call you out. So thank you. Sarah and Tanya. All right. What are we talking about today? How to waste a conference, how to waste money when you go. Now we're back to in person. Harvard Business Review did a research. It's not new. It's a couple of years back, but they found that face-to-face interactions was 34 times more effective than text. So imagine having been away from people for 3 years, how much more effective it's going to be now, right? So people are like, talk about revenge travel. This is going to be like revenge conferencing. Every single client I know is traveling to a conference. I'm going myself. I've had my US work visa renewed. Woohoo! Even though we couldn't tell them when I was going to go. Like, I applied during the pandemic, so it's amazing that that they even considered it. So woohoo! I'm considered an extraordinary alien, and my friends laugh about that, but I am an alien. I am extraordinary. So, how are some of the ways that I see people wasting their money by going to a conference? Is go to conferences where only your peers attend. My rule of thumb is, if you want to go for education, fine, but you need a whole other timeline, budget, resource, whatever it is, whole other bucket where you're gonna carve out time and budget to go to conferences where your actual prospects are. The rule of thumb for me is 70% of your prospects, 70% of a conference attendees total population should be representative of your key decision maker. If they're not, get out of there, go back. The higher you get in the decision making circles, the smaller these groups that these decision makers are going to be attending. Maybe they'll be speaking, maybe they'll be going to the executive roundtables at those events, but maybe you don't need to be at the whole conference, but you have to get in front of them. Oh my God, I'm starting to hack. Okay, wait, I gotta take a sip. Okay. So that's number one. Stop going to conferences where your prospects are. Stop going where your peers are. Start going where your prospects are. Number two is, you will waste your conference dollars if you just show up and throw up and expect to get business. And a lot of people do, but if you don't contact a hot list of prospects that are either affiliated with that industry or going to be there, you have to contact them before. I don't care what you say to them. You could simply be contacting them to say, hey, I see that you're a member of this association, that I'm going to be going to the conference. Are you also going? I would love to meet you. I'd love to put a name to a face. I've been following your work, whatever it is. All the way to what I'm doing is I'm actually going to be doing a breakout. So I'll be speaking at the conference that I'm going to. Plus, I'm going to try to get in on like a TV appearance in Atlanta, where I'm going to go at the WeBank conference. So I'm going to invite people to any of those things, to view it, to be there at the recording, to be there in person, whatever it is. It's an excuse to reach out to my prospects and to my networks to let them know that I'm going to meet them there. But if I don't set it up and I don't use the excitement of this conference, and especially now, the conference fever because of COVID is even more like, it's all about networks and connections, right? So if you don't reach out to them before, one, they're not going to know you from Adam. It's going to be completely happenstance that they run into you. Two, you're not going to be able to maximize the number of people that you're meeting. Three, you're not going to be able to leverage the actual event and the conference to be able to reach out to your potential prospects and buyers. So one of the biggest things that we do with clients is pre-conference planning. So they have to do that. All right. The third thing that they you waste money doing is they don't have a way to position themselves. They not only just show up and throw up, but they're just like everybody else. Even if they call people from before, there's no reason. They don't give a reason because they're no different than everybody else who's going to be there, or who the person that they're already working with, or the company they're already working with. There's no differentiator. Remember, 86% of buyers can't see the difference. Corporate buyers, B2B, can't see the difference between two suppliers. So what are some of the ways to differentiate yourself? So you can, first of all, obviously figure out who is your exact extreme target and your super niched positioning, meaning what is the number one problem in that industry that you solve, that is the most expensive, that you have spent a lot of money and time positioning yourself with your content online and offline to make it look like you own that problem, that you are the thought leader, the expert, the go-to person about that problem. So once you've done that strategic work, oh my God, my nose is running. I'm glad you're not here and you can't see it. So tomorrow my nose is going to be totally red. I'm doing a big training for a huge corporate and it's a huge coup, and I'm going to have a red nose. I'm going to be Rudolph. Okay. So what are some of the ways to position yourself? So one, do the work, do the strategic work to figure out what is that super niche. Always talk about it. That's what I do for a living. Number two, use that super niche to invite them to any event that you have that you're holding in and around the conference. So my clients and I, we hold generally executive roundtables, day zero of registration, around a topic of interest and a topic of problem, pain, and costly solution to the problem around the day before, mostly during, but at least the day before, but not after, because everybody goes home and wants to go home really badly, around the date of the conference. Another one is if you can get a speaking engagement, that's golden. I was very, very fortunate to be able to do that. Less desirable, but still, visibility, gives you visibility as a panel. I've done conference coaching corners where I actually give free advice, and I've done it alone, and I've done it with other coaches who target the same prospect, but don't have the same expertise. So at a business conference, I would hire SEO, digital, networking, and then I would have the marketing strategy booth. So we would all be able to serve as the same kind of person, but at least you are demonstrating your expertise and you're demonstrating how you're differentiated and what your positioning is. You could exhibit. That's a great way. You could sponsor. You can have a meet and greet. I've had a client who, and I've had many clients, they didn't want to do any of the educational stuff, but they wanted to do something social. So they invited people to the night before, registration, they invited them to an icebreaker to their room. So they would have like the penthouse, for example, or a suite where they could invite at least 10 people, and they would cater some sort of cocktails or meal or whatever it was, or they could cross the street and go to a bar across the street. Typically what I found is the hotel itself will not let you have the venue or rent a venue if it's locked down for that event. So you typically have to look outside. So I've hired out to adjacent hotels or Regis rooms, which are like common work rooms. I can't even speak. And I'm only on Advil, actually Tylenol, and my nose is running again. Okay. And then one of the other things that we do that I gave the example is gift and room. If you have a really solid list of who's going to be there, and you know that for sure they're going to be there, then try to work it out with the hotel staff that you leave them a gift of something that makes sense for them, like that has to do with your strategy. So for example, for a logistics and transportation company that I was working with, we had planned to develop tiny little kits of safety kits, the kind that you have in the back of your trunk. So we were going to have those developed because their positioning was that they were the safest transportation. So that was going to be their message and their positioning, and it would have also been a very cute takeaway while delivering the message, and that would have been in the room. So these are some of the ways that you can use your positioning to convey it at the event. But if you're not planning it, you just show up and throw up. It's not going to happen, because some of these things have a lead time to plan. Some of these things have production timelines, but mostly it's the strategy of who am I targeting, where are they going to be at, what is my positioning, and then how do I convey that to them at both before and at that conference. Okay. And the last way to waste your conference dollars, I'm holding up, I haven't really hacked, it's really good. The last way is, and I'm sure there's lots of other ways, believe me, I could go on, but the follow-up thing, right? I really hate follow-up. So what I tell my clients, especially clients who also hate follow-up and don't do follow-up, because most people don't do follow-up. And when you come back from having been away, like this time I'm going to be away for like a week from everything, from my office, from my business, from my family, everything, right? From my workouts, like, I mean, mind you, I'll work out there, but still it's you're coming back into this, the life where you have to work back to get back to where you were before you left. Plus, on top of that, you have all this extra follow-up work to do, but that's the reason why you went there in the first place. I'm not going to judge. I don't care if you don't follow up. Here's what you do if you don't want to follow up, and you don't have to follow up. At the event and before the event, you lock in a time to meet and the person to meet with the person. Never leave a conversation without a next meeting if they are your target and they say that they need you, or they show any interest in meeting you in the future. Never leave without a meeting. You have to, even if they say, oh, I'm not sure about the other people's schedule, how about I get back to you? Never. Always say, is it okay if I call you, next Monday at noon to be able to get that date from you? Because I know how it is. We're going to go back to our busy lives. You're going to get busy. I'm going to get busy, and we're going to lose the importance of this. So, and I've had people say, oh, don't worry, I'll never forget you. Don't worry. In that case, if they're really not willing to give you a date, they're not really serious. But if they're in pain and they think you can help them, they will be the first people to sign up for the next conversation with you. Okay. So those are some of the ways to waste and not to waste. Some of the bad things that you might be doing around conferences, and how to turn that around and how to switch that. So I hope that was helpful. I didn't cough once. I didn't need my Riccolos. And have a good Tuesday. And hopefully by next Tuesday, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be at the gym. You guys, I haven't worked out in days. I am sick. Anyway, on that bright note, have a good one, everyone. Take care.